This is how I got my client 5.99% interest only on the investment loans. So a bit of background about this client. She runs an e-commerce store. She sells beauty products like cosmetic products all over the world through her e-store, and she's based in Sydney. And she actually saw one of my TikToks and booked a 60-minute consult with me, and then decided to go ahead with this strategy. So there are two folds in terms of this strategy, in terms of what I did for her. About 12 months ago when she contacted me, she said she needed to settle on a Chatswood, St. Leonards and Kellyville off the plan property. Now, the property market price before was about 1.6 to 1.5 to 1.6, so a total market value of $4.7 million that needed to be settled 12 months ago. Now, back then, obviously, she's self-employed, and her accountant was a bit late in terms of doing her tax returns because all her income were like overseas and the revenues were a bit different in terms of calculations. She couldn't get it done, so we had to do low doc to settle these three properties. And at low doc, at 65%, we borrowed $3 million. And back then, the rate was 7.99% because it was low doc. And in actual fact, she actually didn't need $3 million. She only needed $2 million because she had $1 million in her bank account for spare. But I told her to maximize the loan so she could park the extra money in redraw or offset. And now bring you guys forward to now, I'm helping this client refinance through full doc, which is providing 2 years tax returns, which the accountant has finally done. Now, I found her a bank where I could negotiate if I could turn her current LVR, which is 65%, down to just 50%, I could get her 5.99% interest only on full doc rates. If she wanted to, I can get her 5.69 principal interest at 50% LVR for investment loans. That's pretty low, right? But obviously right now she's at 65% and she needs to pay down her loan by $695,500 to reach 50%. So before she could make this decision with her partner, I had to do a little table for her, which I do for all my high net worth clients and low net worth clients because I don't discriminate. We worked out originally, well, she wanted to borrow only $2 million, but she got an extra $1 million in redraw by borrowing $3 million. So we can actually get that extra fund to use towards that, to pay that down to this amount to make a 50% LVR. So in terms of repayments, to show you before and after, she was paying $22,000 per month before on principal interest 7.99. Now I got her 5.99 on interest only, and the repayment is half of that at $11,817. Now, as a small business owner like myself, to those small business owners that are watching this, you would know cash flow is king. The extra 10 G's a month of saving by this minusing this, that extra cash flow per month could actually mean reinvesting back into your business with more staff, more inventory, and actually more money to spend. As you can see, guys, the strategy here is very holistic. It's a twofold strategy. First, low doc and then full doc. And it's not just like a quick fix. It was actually a 12-month plan with this client to get this done. And not to toot my own horn, guys, but this strategy requires a lot of time holding with the client. This is like one of the numerous tables which I had to explain to her when she was a green screen, brand new. Oh, what's low doc? To then doing all this to full doc to getting her a really good rate. And guys, that is the main difference between using a boutique, independent, self-employed broker for the last 15 years versus a franchise PAYG broker or a PAYG banker. Because I can tell you, if this client applied this strategy with a PAYG broker or banker like 12 months ago and applied the twofold strategy, the first fold would be done, and then when it comes to the second fold, that person is no longer there. Why? Because that's the PAYG model. They've either got promoted, replaced, fired, who knows? And what happens, guys? You got to re-explain that process to the new person, and that person's like, what? Whilst for the independent boutique self-employed broker, which has been operating 15 years ago, will still be operating 15 years later, will still be here for the client running these long-term holistic strategies. Wow!